Do you have a sewing machine but have no idea how to thread it? Don't worry, by the end of this video, you're gonna know the exact steps you need to take to thread your machine so you can actually start using it. Ooh, I am so excited for you. Hi, my name's Abby and I help anxious beginners start making clothes they love. And if you stick with me till the end of this video, I'm going to share with you a tip that I wish I had done or I had known when I first started making my own clothes. Now let's jump right in to learning how to thread the sewing machine. In order to thread your sewing machine, we first need to know how many threads are we actually threading on the machine. So how many threads do you think your sewing machine has? Pause now, guess, put it down in the comments. If you guessed 2, you would be right. All home sewing machines have 2 threads. Now, why do we need to know this? Why is this important? Because when we want to start threading our machine, we need to, before we get started threading it, we need to have 2 threads, okay? One of them we buy at the fabric store. It looks like this. It's called a spool of thread. Maybe you've seen them before. And the second one we actually are going to make using our sewing machine. So to thread absolutely any sewing machine, you need to make or wind the bobbin. Okay, that's going to be us making the second thread for our sewing machine. Then we are going to thread the top of our sewing machine. Okay, step number 2. And then we are going to insert or load the bobbin. Okay, so those are the 3 steps we are going to use to thread absolutely any and all home sewing machines. So let's jump in and see how we actually make the second thread. The first thing we need to do is take the spool of thread that we bought at the fabric store and put it on the spool pen. The spool pen is going to be at the top of your sewing machine, either in the middle if you have a horizontal spool pen like this one, or it's going to be off to the right-hand side if you have a vertical spool pen. Now let's talk about these 2, okay? So your machine will have one or the other. Which does yours have? We're going to talk about them a little bit, so I want you to look at your machine and let me know down in the comments what kind of spool pen you have. So a horizontal spool pen goes horizontal, parallel to the table. And you're going to put your spool pen on like this. And then you're going to put a little spool pen stopper. It's just a little piece of plastic that goes on after the spool. Now the stopper can be different sizes. There are small, medium, and large sizes. They can be slightly different shapes. I haven't personally noticed a big difference between the different stoppers. Some people believe there's a difference. Use whichever one you like the best, whichever one doesn't give you any problems. But the real thing we need to know is that we need the stopper. You can't sew without one, because when we're sewing, the thread is going to get pulled off the spool in this direction to the left. And when the thread comes off, it's going to pull the spool. And the spool is going to want to come off of the spool pen, fall on the ground, and roll away from your machine and make a big, messy knot. And we don't want that. So by putting the spool pen stopper on here, we prevent the spool from coming off and falling on the floor and making a big mess. It stays right where we want it. Okay? Now, that is the horizontal spool pen. The other option here is the vertical spool pen. Now, when we first look, we might notice that the vertical spool pen is much shorter than our spool of thread, okay? This is called the storage position, and this is where we put the spool pen so that way we don't bend or break it while we're moving the machine or transporting it, or when we buy it brand new out of the box, that kind of stuff. So we don't sew like this. No. Instead, what we are going to do is grab our vertical spool pen and pull straight up. Okay, this is going to lengthen the spool pen, and now it should be about the same length as our spool. Perfect. Now we can put the spool on here and we're ready to start sewing. Now, I didn't say it, so I'm going to say it now. If we left the spool pen in this lower position and we put the spool on it, does the spool stay there? For now, yes. But when we start sewing, the spool pin's going to start spinning and it can wobble. And because the spool pin is short, sometimes if the spool starts wobbling a lot, it can jump off of the spool pin and fall on the ground, and again, the big mess. So make sure that you pull the vertical spool pin up, make sure they're about the same length, the spool and the spool pin, put the spool pin on, and then we're ready to start sewing. Now that we have the spool on the spool pin, we're going to move over to the left side of our machine and look down at the top. Now, when we look here, we're going to see most likely some arrows. Now, these arrows are super common on all the new sewing machines, but if you have a slightly older machine, you might not have them. If you don't have the arrows, you're going to want to check your manual. The manual will definitely have the arrows drawn for you there. So when we look, we're going to have either a solid arrow or a dashed arrow. Now, the solid arrow will always be for the top thread when we want to thread the top of our sewing machine. And the dashed arrows will always be for winding our bobbin. Okay, so what step are we on right now? Winding the bobbin. So which arrow are we going to follow? The dashed arrow. Okay, so the dashed arrows, we're going to follow them. Now, the trick here is that we want our thread to look just like the arrow. So wherever the arrow goes, we want our thread to follow. So the first arrow on this sewing machine is going to go straight under this first little piece of metal. So I'm going to take my thread. I can actually pop it in from the back. The manual shows me. And now my thread looks just like the arrow on my machine. Okay, so that's number one. There's a number one right next to that arrow. Perfect. Now, where is my dashed arrow number 2? So coming to number 2, this one's a little bit trickier. Okay, if I put the thread like this, is it following the arrow? Does my thread look like the arrow now? No, it doesn't. So instead, let me pull the thread this way. Okay, and if I loop it around, now does it look like the arrow? Better. Yes. Okay, perfect. So it's really important that we go slow when we're learning how to thread our machine, and we make sure the thread looks just like the arrow. I need to make a really important note here because I think a lot of people miss this. Now, if you have ever tried to create a bobbin and it has looked anything like this, there's a really obvious reason for this and a really easy fix. So we're gonna talk about it now so your bobbins never look like this because this is bad. We don't want our bobbins to look like this. When we are wrapping our thread following the dashed arrows, there will always be somewhere on your sewing machine a little circular drum that looks like this. Okay? Now, when we look at this, if we grab the little drum from the outside and we pull up, we'll see that when we let go, it snaps back down. There's a little spring in there that pushes the drum down. Now, this is super important. We need to make sure that the thread that we're wrapping around this drum gets pulled tight and snug underneath it. Okay? We can't just wrap the thread near this, under it, around it. It has to actually go under this little metal drum. Okay, if we miss this, if the thread is just looped near this or around it, but not going under, then the thread will be loose. There will be no tension, and then you will get these loose, weird looking bobbins that are no good for sewing. Okay, so make sure that when you pull your thread around this, the thread disappears underneath it. Okay? Okay, good. Perfect. Did you do this? Yes, I hope so. Okay, so now that we've done that, we're gonna go over to the left-hand side of the machine and we can see here another arrow. And this arrow, if we look very closely at the bobbin and the arrow, the thread goes under the top of the bobbin and then up through a little hole in the top of the bobbin. Okay, so here's a close-up of the bobbin. We can see that there is a little hole at the top. So we want to thread our bobbin like this. We're going to take the tail, the end of our thread, we're going to put it through the middle of the bobbin between the two outer plates, and then up through the top plate, the little hole in the top plate of the bobbin. So once you have it pulled up, we're going to take the bobbin and we're going to place it on the bobbin winding spindle. Okay, it's a very old-timey word, I know, very strange, but that's what it's called. And then once it's on the bobbin winding spindle, we're going to push the bobbin and the spindle. We're going to push it to the left. We're going to push it towards the bobbin stopper. This is another really important step, you guys, because when our bobbin winding spindle is to the left in its normal position, the needle on your sewing machine is going to move. You're going to be sewing, and the bobbin winding spindle won't do anything. It'll just sit there stationary because you're not using it. Perfect, exactly what we want. But when we want to move thread from the spool to the bobbin, we need the bobbin winding spindle to turn. That's what's going to pull the thread onto the bobbin. So how do we make it spin? We make it spin by pushing the spindle over towards the stopper. When the spindle is to the left, close to the stopper, we move the power of the motor from the needle to the bobbin winding spindle. Now that we have followed the dashed arrows, we've made the thread look just like the arrows, we've put the thread through the bobbin like this, and we've pushed the spindle all the way to the right, and we're now ready to start winding the bobbin. To do this, we are going to hold the tail, which is what we call the end of the thread, okay? So this little end that we've now pulled through the hole, that's the tail. We're going to hold the tail straight up, and we are going to press the foot pedal, okay? Now, when we do this, the bobbin is going to start spinning. And when it starts spinning, you'll see it starts collecting thread on the bobbin. Yay, just what we wanted. But we don't want to have to hold this tail the entire time. Your arm's going to get tired. Nope, we want to stop when it's just right. And when it's just right, the Goldilocks point, as I like to call it in my classes, is when the center column is just covered in thread. So we cover it top to bottom, then we can stop and we can cut this tail. So not too little, not where we can still see the center column of the bobbin, because if we let go of it too early, the thread is going to want to go back down through the hole and it's going to start unraveling, and then it's not going to work anymore. Bummer. And not too much where it's going to create a spring and pull away from us and create this nest. Because we have covered the center fully with thread, that thread that we already have wrapped around the bobbin is going to hold or lock the tail in place. So when we cut it, it's not going to come unraveled and come off the bobbin again. It's stuck in there because of the thread that's wrapped around the bobbin. All we need to do is keep pressing the foot pedal and the bobbin will start winding and it will start filling up. Now, for most sewing projects, you can fill your bobbin halfway, which means the distance halfway between the original column in the center and the outer ring. Yeah, that's about halfway between those two. As for me, I find it's a little bit easier to do. I'm looking at it down from the top because you can see the outer ring, the inner ring, and you want to fill it somewhere about the middle. Okay, that's usually plenty of thread for most beginner projects. But I want to show you what a full bobbin looks like, because I think people tend to wonder like, okay, but like if I'm filling a bobbin, how do I know when it's done? How do I know when it's full? It's done when you have enough thread for your project. So like I said, halfway is usually a really good point for most beginner projects, but let's look at what a truly full bobbin looks like. So if I keep filling it and I keep going, what you're going to find is that at some point, the thread is going to start getting so full that it presses against the bobbin stopper, hence why it's called that. So I'm going to keep my foot pressed on the foot pedal. I'm not changing anything. I am pressing the same amount the whole time. But what we will see that over time, as the thread starts pushing against the stopper, the winding will slow down. Now you see it's slowing down here. It's not moving as much. I am still pressing the same amount on the foot pedal. I'm not changed anything. But because the thread is pushing so hard against the stopper, the spool can't spin anymore. And this is when we know the bobbin is full. Now that we have a bobbin, whether half full or totally full, if your thread and your spool, if your bobbin and your spool are still connected, we need to cut them, okay? Because if we don't, we technically just have one really long thread in two places. We need to cut this so that way we have two separate threads. And it does not matter where you cut this, because if I cut it here, for example, I can just unwind this and make a longer tail. And the same is true for the spool, okay? So it doesn't matter where you cut it, you just need to cut it. And once you've done that, and once you've cut it, yes, you are officially done with this first step. Go you! So, did your bobbin turn out well? I hope the answer is yes. And if the answer is yes, then you are ready for the next step. But if you ran into some problems, if something doesn't look quite right, put any questions or problems you're having below this video so we can chat and help you get answers. And as we move forward in your sewing journey, if you ever feel overwhelmed, confused, don't worry, you don't have to figure this out on your own. I would absolutely love to have you be part of my online sewing community. It's a place where you can get live support from me, you can post pictures and videos, and we can really dig into helping you problem solve whatever problems you're having a little bit easier than just the comments down here. Plus, you'll get a printable cheat sheet for how to thread your sewing machine. So you will have a printable guide right next to you every time you're threading your machine to make sure you always thread it the right way. And you'll have a supportive community to hang out with, ask questions, see what other people are making. It's just a really fun place to hang out. So if that would help you, it's the exact kind of support I wish I had when I got started. So you can join the community down in the description. Now let's talk about step number 2, which is actually threading the top of your sewing machine. So if you have a good looking bobbin, go ahead and click this video and let's see how to thread the top of your machine step by step. Happy sewing!